Hello, everyone. Today we're going to be discussing motivational interviewing effects on adults with intellectual disabilities. Motivational interviewing is using a motivating attitude when interviewing a client. It is designed to strengthen the client's self-motivation and commitment to a specific goal. Social workers benefit from using motivational interviewing by helping their clients commit to treatment and helping them be more positive towards the goal. Adults with intellectual disabilities. Adults with intellectual disabilities are adults who are below average on their ability to problem solve, reasoning, judgment, etc. Most adults with intellectual disabilities have a social worker or case manager who is helping them meet their goals. Adults with intellectual disabilities also tend to be more difficult when interviewing and need that extra push to help them understand and be positive. This is very true. I work with adults with intellectual disabilities on a daily basis, and I really think that motivational interviewing could benefit them and help them be motivated in their own care and be more involved and aware of what's going on with them and what kind of care they're going to be receiving and what they're working towards and all the issues that they need to work on and realize themselves and be a part of their treatment. How motivational interviewing can help with adults with intellectual disabilities. Motivational interviewing is centered around what the client thinks that they need to work on and helps them determine their goals that they need to be. Motivational interviewing does this by implementing the idea that they want to do it themselves, not what everyone else wants them to do. Many adults with intellectual disabilities have trouble understanding why they are having to do certain tasks, and motivational interviewing could help them understand. Yes, motivational interviewing, I think, will be very beneficial on helping the clients understand why they're doing what they're doing, what their goals are, and help them understand a little bit better. I think that if you just put it on paper and explain it to them in facts and bigger words that they may not know the meaning of, that they sometimes get confused. So I think that by motivating them to want the care for themselves and really getting into details and explaining it to them in a way that they understand, then I think that that will be very beneficial to them. Engaging. In my personal experience, adults with intellectual disabilities tend to do better learning by feeling comfortable with who is at the interview and where the interview is located. By understanding basic counseling skills, the social worker can build a relationship with the client first and engage with them on their level. I think that if a social worker were to meet an adult with intellectual disabilities on their turf, like at their house or somewhere that they're very familiar with going to, a restaurant, anywhere that's familiar to them, I think they'll be a little bit more comfortable and more willing to open up. And then also, once you get through the first part of the interview and you build like a relationship with the client, you make them feel comfortable, you're engaging with them on their level at their setting, I think that they would be more willing to open up about what kind of goals that they themselves want to work on and what their future looks like to them and what they want for themselves. Focusing. Adults with intellectual disabilities tend to lose focus and get off track. Motivational interviewing would be able to help the client focus on the issues and stay on task. Clients tend to get off task when they get distracted by things. They could think of something just totally random with their disability, and then it'll get the conversation off track. The social worker needs to be focused on the task and try to rope in the client when they start to do that, especially clients with intellectual disabilities, because some of them can go on a little rant for a while if you get them talking about something that they really know some details about. Miller and Rolnick describe using an agenda map that helps the client focus on their goals. I think that by using the agenda map, clients will be able to understand and focus more on what they're doing. It'll give them sort of a schedule and a structure to go by so that they're not just going by paperwork and what they're supposed to work on for the day. I think that by using the agenda map, they can map out their entire day, week, year, month, whatever they want to map out. And they would be really engaged with doing that, especially having some sort of visual thing to help them continue on their path. Evoking. Evoking is when a client starts using more change talk. In this case, clients will be using more words like will instead of might work on something. With clients with intellectual disabilities, they may not use change talk right away. It may take them a while to start using talk like that. It may take them working on their goals and working on everything that they are supposed to be working on for a long time, longer than a normal client may be, especially because of their disabilities. They'll be a little bit more slower at reaching their goals and focusing on the future. Most of the clients that I work with, they are more so in present day. A lot of them don't talk about towards the future. Most of them tend to talk about the past even more than anything, the past or the present. And some of them aren't even in the present, they're mostly in the past. You just got to find what works for each client. Every client's different on their level and what pace that they work at. The client will also start to look at a future in a brighter way. Clients with intellectual disabilities will start to tell the social worker all the things they're working on and what they will be working on. Clients with disabilities, they would tell the social worker their goals and what they've been working on. They may even just bring up something totally random that they did on their way to the social work interview to try to help get that goal in for the day. And they'll get excited about it and want to talk about it a lot. So just be prepared to be more motivating every single interview. Just always stay motivating, and that client will feel comfortable with you and start to get into things that they normally wouldn't get into because you're motivating them so much. For the conclusion, motivational interviewing can benefit adults with intellectual disabilities by helping them feel excited and part of their treatment. Many adults with intellectual disabilities do not get the experience of being part of the solution. They are told what they have to do and what their goals should be. By using motivational interviewing, clients would have a much better approach to fixing the issues. A lot of the clients that I work with on a daily basis, I've been trying to use motivational interviewing with them to get them really into being a part of their services and a part of their goals. Because the clients that I work with are working on life skills so that they can enter back into the community independently without needing caregivers. And I really do want that for them. I want them to be able to not need us as caregivers and be able to do things on their own. So every day I try to motivate them to do better, and even if their goal for the day is just fixing their food, I'll be like, hey, are you going to make you something to eat today? Are you going to take a shower today or do your hygiene? And I get them, I'm like, let's go get a shower. Let's go make your food. I'll help you with it. We can do it together. And really doing it with the clients with intellectual disabilities gets them motivated because they're like, oh, she can do it, I can do it too. So I feel like that's really what motivates the clients that I work with, is just working alongside them, working with them. And I feel like motivational interviewing can be a big help and a big part of that by asking open-ended questions And by getting my clients to go into details about why they have these goals set in place and why us as social workers can work with them and work towards their goals without making them feel like we're telling them what to do. Because that's never a good scenario, especially with the clients I work with. If you make them feel like you're bossing them around or telling them what to do, they're not going to do it. Just out of sheer saying, hey, I don't have to do what you say. I'm an adult. Adults with intellectual disabilities, the ones I work with anyway, they full on understand that they are adults. And they like to be treated as your friend, as someone that you're just having a conversation with. They don't want to be treated like they're being bossed around. But that concludes the presentation for today. Any questions or concern, feel free to reply. Thank you.